So الدرس الثلاثون 30th lesson مراجعة which is review. We have التدريب الأول. So it says اقرأ وأجيب, read and answer. So it says أعلن المعهد. We know what أعلن means, to announce. أعلن يعلن. Okay, remember the 4 letter verbs? The present tense takes a dhamma. So المعهد, the institution, announced نتيجة امتحان المستوى متقدم. So natija, we know all of these things we had in last class lesson, the result of the exam of the advanced level. ذهب الطلاب إلى المعهد. The student went to the institution. ليعرف. ليعرف is a review. لي نعم التعليل. This is pretty much harful jar, but we know that harful jar cannot come in the verb. So what happens is that we actually have li and we have a hidden an. And we know what an does to the present tense verb. It makes it into mansub. That's why sometimes you will also find li an. You know, here you can say li an. Li an ya'rifa. You can say that. That's not a problem. Now, كل منهم, all of them, نتيجته. So they want their, all of them, in order to know their result. نتيجته, their result. Then we have وجد الطلاب نتيجة, same thing. وجد فعل, الطلاب فاعل, نتيجة is مفعول به. So the students found. Another question. The طلاب is plural, right? It's جمع. Why do we have a singular verb? Shouldn't it be وجدوا? وجدوا. So remember, guys, I don't think I mentioned this one, but I think it's kind of important. Verbal noun cannot be plural. It can be مذكر مؤنث, but it cannot be plural, especially when you're studying a concept. So وجد, we have a verb first, so this is a verbal noun. So you can't have, you don't say plural. But if you bring the طلاب before, then it becomes nominative sentence. Then you have to say وجدوا. If you say الطلاب, then you say وجدوا النتيجة. فهمتم? But then what happens is that there's another tricky things. Then if you continue what's happening with this طلاب, it's a verbal sentence, so you say وجد الطلاب. Then you continue what else they did. They found and then they read. Then you have to say plural. وقرأوا, okay? So, but in the beginning, when you start a verbal sentence, you cannot have a plural. It will always be singular. Very important point to know. So, وجد الطلاب النتيجة, they found the result معلقة معلقة في لوحة الإعلانات. So they found the result hanging in the bulletin board. But my question is, what do you think a معلقة is doing here? Why is it mansub? This is a little bit advanced topic, which inshallah you will learn them in the next level. This is not maf'ul bihi. Okay, this is not maf'ul bihi because we have a maf'ul bihi here already. This is they call it hal. Hal is a state, a situation. So when they found it, in what situation either the doer was or the maf'ul bihi object was. So how did you find? So when you found them, what was happening? You understand? So anyway, this is a little bit complex topic, but if you, at this point, if you're asking yourself, why do I have a fatha here? Then that's the situation. Anytime you have a hal, for example, you can say, I found him running. So him is the object. You found him. How did you find him? You found him running. This running will be mansub. Okay? And now, so that's what's happening here. Then we have وهي قائمة بأسماء الطلاب. What is قائمة? Do anybody know what is قائمة? I think this is the first time we saw this word actually. قائمة is a list. It's a list of things. قائمة is a list, like to-do list, something. So here قائمة, this is a list بأسماء الطلاب, with the names of the students. والمواد and the subject والتقديرات and the marks. Menu, yeah, menu would be fine. So menu is a list. When you go, you say قائمة الطعام, the menu. So then he says الطلاب الذي نجح قرأ أمام اسمه كلمة ناجح. So the student الذي, the student who نجح, succeeded or passed. قرأ, it reads أمام اسمه, he reads front of his name كلمة word ناجح, passed. And then it continues والطلاب الذي رسب في مادة واحدة, student who failed one course. قرأ أمام اسمه كلمة متخلف, so student who passed only one subject. So now we know what is متخلف actually refers to. So if you failed one class, then you read in front of you his name, word متخلف. Now والطلاب الذي رسب في أكثر من مادة قرأ أمام اسمه كلمة راسب. So student who failed more than one class. So he reads front of his name what? راسب, failure or failed, someone who failed. So as you can see, we have a أكثر and we have a fatah here. Now the question, we have a حرف الجر في. You know about this book. This book has a lot of typos, and I'm reminding you, those typos do not blame the authors. We have 6 PhD authors who authored this series. So they are not the one who's making mistakes. Okay, it is the publisher, whoever is doing editing, the last minute mistakes. So the question is, we have حرف الجر في. What's going on? Is this a mistake? Ahsant. No, this is not a mistake. This is mamnu' min as-sarf. These are the words that we talked about. Ism tafdil comes in mamnu' min as-sarf form, so it cannot take a kasra. So you have to put instead of kasra a fatha. Ahsant. Now, so then he says, hanna'a ba'dun najihin ba'da. Hanna'a is to congratulate. Okay. Hanna is to congratulate. I think we had this one before. As you can see, this ba'd, this is the subject, a doer. Ba'dun najihin, some of the one who passed, they are congratulating ba'da, others. So in Arabic, when you say ba'duhum, ba'd, when you have these two words coming side by side, in the Quran it comes a lot of times. Sometimes come ba'duhum ala ba'd, ba'duhum min ba'd, ba'duhum li ba'd. Whenever these two ba'd come side by side, it means each other. Okay, it has this meaning, each other. So some of the one who passed, they're congratulating each other. Now, and it says, وَتَكَلَّمَ كُلٌّ مِّنْهُمْ. So, تَكَلَّمَ, this is a verb to speak. All of them, again, this one is a file, كُلٌّ مِّنْهُمْ. Every one of them, they're talking عن الذي, about which ينوي عمله بعد النجاح. So they are talking about الذي ينوي عمله. So what he intends after their success. Work here means what they want to do, what they intend to do after their success. بعضهم يسافر إلى بلده. Some of them, what? Some of them will travel to his country. ليعمل معلما, in order to work as a teacher. So some of them will travel to his country to work as a teacher للغة العربية ودين الإسلام, for Arabic language and Islamic religion. وبعضهم يبقى بمكة للالتحاق بالجامعة. What is يبقى? We also had this word before, this verb. Who can tell me what is the past tense for this? Yes, excellent. Okay, this is a very tricky past tense. So بقي يبقى. So some of them, he will remain in the Makkah للالتحاق بالجامعة, in order to join the university. Some of them, they will return to their country so that they can teach Arabic language, and some of them will stay and continue with their studies. What's going on here? Why do we have a fatah here? shouldn't it be makkati or bimakkatin? This is mamnu' min as-sarf, غير منصرف. Cannot take tanween, cannot take kasra. Do you know when mamnu' min as-sarf take a kasra? Hmm? Okay, ahsan. So when it is prefixed by al, and what is the second time it takes kasra? When it is, no, when it is mudaf. When it's mudaf, then it will take a kasra. So you say masajid. Is masajid mamnu min as-sarf? Do you say masajidun? No, you didn't say masajidun. You say masajid. So this is muntah al-jumu'. This is another pattern that you cannot take tanween or kasra. So this is mamnu min as-sarf. Guys, I'm telling you, don't underestimate mamnu min as-sarf. Even Alfi ibn Malik, which is one of the advanced Arabic grammar book, they will put the mamnu min as-sarf all the way to the end. It's not an easy topic. There are many different rules, many different things to understand how this thing works. There are many different patterns, and one of them is masajid. So you say fi masajid. You went to the masjid. Then you cannot say fi masajidi, or then you say fi masajida. You put a fatha. But if you make it into definite, then yes, you can put a kasra. Fil masajidi. Now, okay, so something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind, guys. Now let's go with as'ila, the question. So these questions are about the text. I'm not going to go back to the text, but I will read them and maybe translate. And please do go back to the text and try to find these answers. ما المستوى الذي أعلن المعهد نتيجته? Which is the level which the Mahad announced its result. I'm always mentioning that you have alladhi. When you have alladhi, the next sentence, whatever you say, there has to be some kind of connector that connects to the alladhi. But before you know what that connector is, you have to know what alladhi represents. So what is alladhi representing? Alladhi is representing al-mustawa. And remember another thing. This portion does not have grammatically access to al-mustawa. So whatever he wants to say, he cannot refer to the mustawa directly. There's a barrier, and the barrier is alladhi, ismul mawsul. So that's why it is job of the ismul mawsul to represent what he is describing properly. And there's two ways we explain. One is with the specific word like alladhi, alladhina, allati, all of these things. Or you can use very general word like ma or man. We discussed those before. But let's say now we have alladhi. So this sentence, a'lana al-mahadu natijatahu, there has to be something that connects to the alladhi. My question is what? Usually it is a pronoun. We have two pronouns here. So, okay, let's see what are the pronouns we have. We have a'lana. What is the file for a'lana? Hmm? Is it a hidden or is it a zahir? Be careful. Be careful. This hamza, Allah musta'an. This hamza is not for ana. It's not for I. This hamza is part of the verb a'lana. He announced, not I announced. Past tense. But where is the file? فعل فاعل مفعول به. فعل فاعل مفعول به. So you look for file. Right after فعل, there should be file. If not, you still look for it. If not, then you go into hidden business. Yes, we have al-mahadu. So the file is right there, right? Sitting in front of you. So now you know this alana cannot be connected to alladhi because why? Its file is right here. So the pronoun that you see huwa, it is already al-mahad, so it's file. So it cannot be. So where is the connector then? Yes, this who is the connector. Now you see, if you read what it says, what is the subject which the mahad, the institution, announced about it? It goes to the subject, I mean level. What is the level? The mahad announced its result, the level's result. So it goes back to alladhi. So it is important that you hunt these connectors. we'll try to go a little bit fast. لماذا ذهب الطلاب إلى المعهد? Very simple. ماذا فعل ناجحون بعد أن عرف كل منهم نتيجته? What what did the successful ones uh, do after they learned their results? They talked about something. You can go back. I'm not going to give you the answers. You can go back. ناجحون, this is the file. Why? Because this waw nun, remember, jam'u mudhakkar salim, it is waw nun that represents dhamma, right? And ya and nun represents mansub or majroor. Yeah. ما نتيجة من يرسب في مادة واحدة? What is the result of who fails in one subject? We have ma natija tu. Remember, it should be natija tun. Okay, so what is going on? Why we have only one dhamma? Then he says man yarsabu fi maddatin wahida, who failed in one subject. This is a little bit tricky. When you say kitabun, this tanween, a lot of people will say this tanween represents indefinite. They say kitabun means indefinite because they're coming from, if you say al kitabu, then you drop the tanween. So then they will say, okay, so kitabun is indefinite. So any time you have a word that is indefinite, it gets tanween, and the definite gets just one. It doesn't take tanween. That is a wrong, because we have Muhammad. Muhammad is Muhammadu or Muhammadun? It's Muhammadun. Is Muhammad definite or indefinite? It is definite. So you cannot say that tanween represents indefinite. That's a wrong thing to say. I've heard a lot of people say this, and a lot of books mention it. That is not the case. The case is the default of noun ism is tanween. Every ism needs to be in tanween. This is its specialties. Kitabun, kitaban, kitabin. Any ism, whether it's adjective or not, its original state, its original form, that it wants to be in tanween. Whether it's definite or indefinite, that's not the question. Only time that they can't get tanween is if it's mamnu min asaf, which we've discussed, or if you add alif lam, or if it is mudaf. Alif lam or mudaf. These are the only two times that noun cannot take tanween. Fahimtum? Now going back to here, keeping in mind what I said. So why do you think this is not a mamnu min asaf? So why do you think this cannot take tanween? Because this is actually, it is a mudaf. Mudaf ilayhi is not your standard word. Mudaf ilayhi is whole sentence. Even in English, when we say book of Muhammad, so this is very simple, positive case, book of Muhammad. But if I say book of the one who was running yesterday, this is still your possessive case. It's just that I'm just describing Muhammad in a whole different way. You understand this concept? So that's what's happening. This is still your mudaf ilayhi. Man is your mudaf ilayhi, and then the man expands because it's small mawsul. Now, so going to the next one, it's exactly same thing. Remember, akthara ghayr munsarif. That's why it's not taking a kasra. لماذا يبقى بمكة بعض الطلاب بعد نجاحهم? Okay, so why did some of the students remain in Makkah after their success? للالتحاق بالجامعة, in order to join the university. And then it says استخراج. Okay, so this is something else. It says استخراج الجمع من القطعة السابقة وهات المفرد. It says استخراج is to extract something. استخراج, I don't think we had this word before. It is to extract. Basically, it comes from the kharaja, istikhraja. It is to try to get something out. So, which means to extract something. Al-jam'a, which is the plural, min al-qit'a, qit'a, t, qit'a is what? Piece. Piece means, he means the text that we have, which is same thing as nas. You can also say nas here, which is a text. So, take out plural from the piece, as-sabiqa, previous piece, previous text, wahati, and give al-mufrad, and give a singular. So what they're asking is basically go back to the text, extract the plural from the previous text. And hati is to give. Al-mufrad, singular. So something, inshallah, you can do. Second one is استخرج ثلاثة أفعال مضارعة وثلاثة أفعال ماضية. So same thing, extract 3 present tense verbs and 3 past tense verbs. Okay, simple things, inshallah, you guys should be able to do. Now we have التدريب الثاني. It says استمع ثم اكتب ما تسمع إليه في المكان المناسب. Of course, we don't have the text, so we don't know what to do here. It's talking about that you have to listen and then write what you have heard. So we have to skip that. Next, التدريب الثالث is كون كلمات من هذه الحروف ثم ادخل كل كلمة في جملة كما في المثال. You make words from these letters. ثم ادخل, then enter, meaning put all of these words. I mean each of these, remember كل and كلمة is each. So each of these word in a sentence as in the example. So they give you these letters, then he says Jamil, then he put it into sentence. أحمد جميل عمر في معهد اللغة العربية. Okay, good, but I'm going to spend a little bit time here. I'm not going to do this exercise. So I'm going to skip it, but I'll just spend a little bit of time here. All you have to do is they give you a little bit some letters, try to make a word, and then put that word into a sentence. But the example that he gave it's pretty interesting. It says Ahmadu. The first question is why is not Ahmadun? We say Muhammadun غير منصرف ممنوع من الصرف. So why is Ahmad ممنوع من الصرف? Anytime, remember, I'm going to give you a few. I think I've done this before already, so I'm not going to spend too much time. Anytime you have af'al, this form, af'alu. Anytime you have this form, that's why aktharu was mamnu min as-sarf. Okay, ahsanu is mamnu min as-sarf because this follows this pattern, af'alu. Whether it's noun or adjective, doesn't matter. It will be mamnu min as-sarf. You cannot put tanwin, you cannot put kasar. So this is the case here. Then you have Zamilu. So why not Zamilun? Mudaf, Ahsant. Who said that? Yes, Ahsanti. It's Mudaf. Mudaf of what? Mudaf of Umar. So friend of Umar. So this one not getting tanwin because of Ma'mum al-Sarf. This one is not getting tanwin because Mudaf. And now the question is, isn't Mudaf ilayhi majroor? Isn't Mudaf ilayhi always majroor? So we have mudaf ilayhi Umar. So here comes another mistake of the book. Yes? Book made a mistake? Yes, this is mamnu' min as-sarf also. And we just mentioned to you, mamnu' min as-sarf cannot take a kasra. That's why we have a fatha. Okay, fahimtum. This is another pattern, but not often used. This pattern you have to know. There's no excuse with this pattern. Umar is a pattern, and also this is ta'adil. The word is actually from Amir. When you have a word that original was something else, then the later was changed, then it become mamnu min as-sarf because of the illa, which is weakness. Anyway, I don't worry about them right now. But this pattern you must know. What are the other words you know that is mamnu min as-sarf? I told you if anything that comes in this pattern is mamnu min as-sarf. Do you know anything else? So we have non-Arabic names. Ahsant. Feminine names. Excellent. Yes. Then I think I will wrap up here because we've done good amount of pages. Inshallah, next lesson we'll start from Tadrib al-Rabi. We don't have much, so this is a good place to stop.